And we're on Facebook Live on the F Show. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to our wonderful guests who are all the way from South Africa, Uganda, Egypt, and Sweden. Yay! This is so exciting because the F Show really likes to give as much as possible a global view on every topic that we do. And today is a follow-up with the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival in partnership, where we discuss pitching for children's content. We understand how difficult it is to produce for children, particularly in Africa, where, as you know, there are other issues that are much more pressing, whether we're talking about feeding our children, clothing our children, sheltering our children, that really in terms of media and culture and film in particular, there are no budgets. So what we are doing at the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival is to find an opportunity in partnership with our partners globally to see how we can ensure that children's films can be produced and that we can find the right way with the right partners. So starting right at the beginning, we've got a pitching session, and we are so excited to present the three top winners, the three pitches that won at the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival to be part of the Embrain project. And we will tell you a little bit about that in a short while. For now, we're going all the way to Uganda, and we invite Rogers, who's going to tell us his fantastic story entitled Paparazzi. Welcome, Rogers. Justine will get your slides ready. So as soon as you see your slide, feel free to introduce yourself and your project. Welcome, Rogers.
Thank you, Fidos. Hello, everyone. I'm Rogers Atkunda from Uganda. I'll be pitching Paparazzi, co-authored with Cindy Magara. It's premised on a COVID-19 lockdown in Uganda with no clear government support, where two orphaned children use art to fend for themselves and rescue their house from a land grabber. I want you to imagine that you are just two minors who have lost your dad. The COVID-19 lockdown is impending. Your street vending mother dies in an accident. A greedy businessman is after your only property, and you have no contact of any relative. The storyline: orphaned siblings Razo and Nita survive by drawing and peddling pictures on streets to put food on the table and expose Devo, a land-grabbing businessman. The siblings take and leak images of their brutal eviction to the press, stirring public outcry and calls for Devo's arrest. The expose gives birth to a paparazzi legend in the community as media houses scramble to scoop the first interview with the children. The key characters are Razo 13, a quick-witted boy, and P7 candidate who loves photography. His sister Nita, 12, is a gifted artist who spends most of her time drawing pictures. And the antagonist, Devo, 45, a potty-buried tycoon fond of grabbing poor people's land. The key production highlights: the genre is drama. We had put it at 80 minutes to be specific. The target audience is 10 years plus, and we estimated a budget of $500,000. That is pre-production, production, and post-production. Why Paparazzi now? We hope this film will inspire child-headed families in Uganda and sub-Saharan Africa by showing the benefits of resilience and art. In summary, the film shows that talent plus art plus hard work equals survival in a dog-eat-dog society. We are saying that art becomes the soft power to these powerless children. And we compared the movie with a South African movie called Wooden Camera. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Rogers. Thank you so very much. That went very well. We were so worried about the technology. You did well. Thank you. We now go to Wendy, who's going to tell us her wonderful project. Wendy, please introduce yourself. You can share your screen, and good luck.
Hey guys, I'm so excited. I'm so grateful actually for for this opportunity. I'm so happy. My name is Wendy Mlangeni. I'm a scriptwriter and director, and this is how my presentation went. I'm trying to get to, I'm trying to share the screen. Yes. So my story, okay, no, the slide just went. Okay, so the name of my project is Finding Mbongeni. The genre is a documentary, and then its target audience is 10 to 18. Duration is 60 minutes. So Finding Mbongeni is a biographical story of a talented African child performer who was born with a musical talent. He reached great heights at an early age and performed with the Black Eyed Peas, an international pop group, at the age of 9. He was then robbed of a promising future in music by his manager, who never paid him a cent. And never paid him a cent. He fell into depression and started using drugs for 12 years, but hold out hope that he can normalize his life again. He does so with the humanitarian intervention of 2 big sisters who reconnect him with his role model, will.i.am, through the power of social media. Today, he is a presenter of a radio station, inspires and motivates young listeners on and off air through his outreach. The premise of the story: what if a talented young man has to unearth his past traumas in order to help other children in the community? The tagline is finding your voice in the midst of the storm. So this was my pitch, and I believe that this story, like was the best demonstration to the youth on how one can easily lose themselves and their dreams to drugs, but also motivates those that are already using drugs to dig deeply enough to try and find themselves, to rescue that which is left. So I would also love to play you a video of Mbongeni the first time when we met him. This was such a beautiful moment, and we didn't know that this story is gonna reach such heights. So here's the video. Yes, so this is the talented Mbongeni, Finding Mbongeni, and yeah, this story really spoke to me, and seeing him in this, in that situation before, it was so painful and whatsoever. But we also didn't know that this boy has gone through so much, but because of God, we were able to get the story and everything, and this is where we are now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wendy. If you could, yes, give us back the screen. I having obviously know that area, being in Soweto, I can see this young man, and I can understand, what is lovely is to see your empathy and to see that you took the time to find out and to learn about his story. And as you say, bring it all the way to this stage. Well done. Khaula, welcome, dear, all the way from Egypt. Please present your film. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Khaula, my name is Khaula Aboushada. I'm Syrian, but I've been living in Egypt since 2012. I have a mental degree, a master's degree in mental health for children and adolescents. I used to work with the kids as a teacher at the beginning. Then I became a director, school director. Then I worked in culture section. I'm working here already in Cairo as a art school director for Al Darb Al Ahmar Art School. It's kind of a poor and old area. We teach children circus and brass instruments and music. And now I'm working in El Gouna Film Festival as an executive assistant. My project is called Postcard. I will share with you the okay. I have a problem. Sorry, there is a problem in sharing the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we saw some of it in the beginning when you were talking.
Yeah, but I just lost it. It's okay. Anyway, I will talk right till
I think, Justine, if you have the one pager that we saw earlier, you could just put that up on the screen, which was Postcard. I know that I'd asked you, I told you that Khala will have it. But if we just have the one page, that's also interesting to see. Okay, there you are. Thank you, Justine. There you are, Khala. So you
Thank
can
you.
tell us.
Oh, sorry. It's a postcard or secret books. We still didn't confirm the title. It's a feature film, 60 minutes. It's a social drama, adventure, and the age is 8+. The story of it's the story of two children who exist between two worlds: the world they imagine and the world they are trying very hard to leave behind. Angie, the story of the film is Angie is a 10-year-old girl who lives in the kids village, an orphanage that applies the alternative family method. Angie lives a miserable life. She is subject to constant bullying at school from her friends. Her teachers constantly accuse her of lying, and she lacks love and affection from her alternative family. The only two good things in Angie's life are her metal box, which contains secret messages from her uncle Mando, and her close bond with her 6-year-old Bahar, stepbrother Bahar. One day, Bahar delivered to her messages from her uncle Mando through Griot. Griot, he is a microbus driver who was also raised as an orphan in the kids' village too. Angie and Uncle Mando continued their correspondence for a while until one day, Angie informed him that she would escape from the orphanage if he didn't meet her at the Muhammad Ali Citadel in Old Cairo. Angie successfully escaped from the kids' village, and to her surprise, her brother Bahar follows her and refuses to leave her alone. And together they embark on their little adventure. They spend the whole day at the citadel waiting for Uncle Mando, who never shows up. They become frustrated and disappointed, but are shortly distracted by signs of celebration down the street. They decided to follow the noise. Once they reached their destination, they found themselves among a huge crowd in a Sufi carnival. Not a safe place for two lonely children. As they roam around the carnival with caution and excitement, they meet Eka, a teenager who becomes their guide in the alleys of Old Cairo as they chase their dream. That night, they slept on the stairs of Ika's house since his mother refused to let them in. The next day, Griot surprisingly reappears and decided to help them. through a journey filled with adventures, meeting new people, and discovering new traditional rituals. Angie understands the truth about life, sympathy, and real love, and how to always hold on to hope and never stop believing. Thank you.
Thank you, Hala. This is so, so beautiful. And having been in Egypt, I understand all those wonderful places that you have. I'm sorry that we couldn't see all the pictures, but we did it before and it was really exceptional. So now, Leonard, we come to you and this amazing project that you have been doing for some time now. Justine will put up the slides and you will tell us about it. Tell us about Embrain and why you think it's a good idea for our partnership, which is brand new, and we're really very grateful for that. Thank you, Leonard.
Yeah, thank you. The reason we started Embrain 15 to 16 years ago was also here in Europe and in Scandinavia. That was to get a platform, a meeting place where producers and financiers who has a special. Wait a minute, Justin. Yeah, okay, let me there. Okay, it's okay. Take next one, Justin. Take next one. So thank you. We needed to have a platform where they can meet, where they are dedicated to raise the bar, to give kind of challenging content for a young audience from 3 to 18 is the way we see. And we, in those days, it was television and the cinemas. Now, 15 years later, we have a lot of other platforms and distribution forms with mobile phones and exhibitions, museums, everywhere. I mean, everywhere there is a good story for a young audience, we want to highlight that. So every year we, as it says, we have decision makers, we have buyers, we have distributors, and we have experts. It's always good to talk to experts and sales agents, plus a number of professional observers who could be your possible co-producer if you are looking for a co-producer, looking for money. Because we are a business-to-business platform. It is about making it worthwhile, not doing it on an idle basis. You need to get paid to do this. The kids are really important, so we need to bring in money into these kind of productions. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is what I've said. It's a greenhouse. All the projects that are coming to us are in a quite early stage. They have not gone into production. They are in a development, stepped in, are still looking for money. Maybe they have 10% of the budget ready. But what we are looking for is the good story. And also we want to bring in, as we do now, we want to bring in producers that maybe are new into the business to give them a possibility to gain a network. That's what's all about. It's about meeting. It's all about meeting. It's all about network. If you're going to make a film, you cannot do it on your own. You cannot sit in your kitchen and be the brain, the genius. You need to have collaborators. You have to have collaborators, and that's what we want to do. So next slide, please. And this is the program what we have. We have a workshop for documentaries. We are quite unique in that way. We are one of the few who are urging for documentaries for young audience. So we invite 6, 7, 8 projects to this workshop. We have an opening industry day. That's a conference day where we have good case studies. We have panels and inspirational presentations. And then there is 2 days of pitchings, 26 projects about, that's what we had last time, is pitched in front of all the decision makers, all the people. This time it was online. We hope that it's going to be a hybrid version, that we actually have people in the audience, actually real people sitting there meeting you. That's but the good thing about doing it virtual is actually we can reach out to people, for producers who can maybe not afford to come to Malmö, to Sweden. And we saw this year that we have a lot of the increasing projects from Philippines, from Jordan, from Jamaica. And that was quite amazing. And now when we're inviting these 3 projects from Africa, it's fantastic. And all the pitching teams gets a crash course in Noble Art of Pitching. You know, all 3 of you, how hard it is to pitch. It's almost harder than make the film. To be able to be very short and precise of what you want. And that's a noble art form. But we give you a crash course in that with a Danish producer who is he's fantastic. He's fantastic. And we also have a Best Pitch Award. And it's not the best project, but it's the best presentation that we give 2,500 euros. And this year it was a project called Seraphine from France that won. So we really are into to help you to be good pitcher. But if you want to have collaborators, if you want to have money, you need to be precise of what you want. And that is not easy. It's quite hard, actually. And in front of an audience, even harder, because you get nervous and the technique is failing, and everything can happen. So next slide, please. This is just this year we had 236 participants from 36 countries, and this is the countries that were with us this year. It's of course mainly Europe. We were trying, because we are also supported by Creative Europe, but we want to reach out to the rest of the world, of course, because it's a global thing. Even if we are in Sweden, we are not a Swedish project. We are an international project, but we have to be somewhere. And Malmö is, I haven't said that, Malmö is in the south of Sweden, in the bottom of Sweden. If you're looking for Copenhagen on the map, you will find Malmö just opposite Copenhagen. So we are kind of a twin city, we could say, a small city and a big city. Okay, next slide, please. All right, this is just who decision maker were there. I'm not going to say who were there, but you can see there's a lot of people coming who you can gain contacts with. So after every pitch, you can get one-to-one meetings with approximately 10 to 12 of these decision makers. When you talk face to face, where we are not listening, where you actually hopefully make some kind of connection, get a letter of commitment or letter of interest, or even more, maybe they buy the film. That could be the case. That doesn't happen that often. People tend to be very, very slow. They have to wait. You have to show me more. You have to be, and all the 3 projects we have here don't have any moving pictures, and that is something you might need to have. Something, make a mood board with moving pictures. We can talk about that, because all the 3 of you, we will have contact with you, what we want you to do to help you, because we are there for you. You are not there for us. We are there for you. We want to help you. That's the idea. Next slide. Yeah, in numbers. We had 40 development projects presented, 30 were pitched, and 10 was also presented in another way in the conference day. We had 60 decision makers, and the net worth of the projects that were presented was 50 million euros. That's quite a big sum. 70% of projects will be realized. We had 395 one-to-one meetings, and there were 233 delegates. So it's a kind of a quite big thing we had on Zoom. You can imagine for those, it was a big thing. So yeah. Okay, next slide, please. I think that, all right, that's a picture of me. I want to show you, that's me. And that is our moderator standing beside me, Ove, who is the moderator. And that was our studio we had this year. Yeah, I think that is, no, there is one more slide. There is the dates for the next. So if anyone who is listening to this, if you want to submit a project, you can just go into the mbrain.se and find out how to do it. We will open the call in the beginning of October and close in December. Then we make the choices. But the 3 of you we have here in Africa, you don't have to do that because you're already in. That's the good thing. So, okay, thank you. That was my slides. I hope it make any kind of, understand what I was saying.
Thank you, Leonard. That was very good and very detailed. So I want to ask you, you chose these 3 out of 11 others. Why did you choose these 3?
Yeah, it's a hard question, of course, but I was quite confident when I finally make the choices. First of all, I think all the 11 projects there is a kind of a difference between the projects that we often get. These are projects with topics that is based in reality. They are really, all of them was based in the reality and the very harsh world of children. And I think also we don't see that many stories from Africa. Africa is a storytelling continent, so we should see more stories from Africa, of course. Why I choose these three? If I start up with the documentary, with Wendy's project, because that was in the beginning, I wasn't sure if it was a fiction or it was a documentary, but now I understand, Wendy, it was, you're going to make a documentary, you're going to aim for a documentary. And the reason I took it is, again, it's a kind of a cynical world we are living in. How is the protagonist? Who is the lead character? Is he going through the screen? Oh yes, he goes to the screen. And I mean, already when he was 9 years old, he was a good rapper. So he went through the screen already when he was 9 years old. And I fell in love with him directly. And I want to see more about his journey. I mean, how old is he now, Wendy? How old is he? You have to take off the microphone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now he's 23.
23. Okay, yeah. So he's gone quite a long journey and learned a lot in his youth.
Yeah, we found him, I think, when he was 3 years, I think, yeah, 20.
20,
when we
yeah.
found him, yes.
Yeah. And when he was coming out of rehab, or was it going into rehab?
Before rehab, that video showed you.
Yeah, exactly.
Before.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure. Yeah. And now what he's doing now, he found an essence, what he's going to do with his life.
Yes, and he's doing it.
He has these enormous things in his backpack that he's going to use, and that's,
yes.
I mean, no, we don't want everyone to do you use drugs or to be criminals, but if you get out of it, you can actually use that for a good purpose. So sometimes it's good to have that, because they know the reality, they know what they're talking about. You listen to these guys or these women. I mean, also it could be a female, but again, I think also, and I was really intrigued by Wendy's commitment to the story, and I felt that we might be able to help Wendy to go through with this film, because it's difficult to make a documentary. It's difficult to tell a story. You need to have a. I'm a documentary producer myself, so I know what it's about. The editing room is the most important. You need to have the stuff, of course, but then how to tell the story. And I think hopefully we can help you with, get you in contact with good people. So that was the reason I was. And what is the title now, Wendy?
It's Finding Mbongeni.
It's Finding now, yeah.
It's quite interesting, because if you look at his, like, you know, when he was young, how like his mom, like, you know, had to like find him, because you will find him in these weird places, and then Mbongeni, he will always be in trouble, but Mbongeni now comes out a hero. Like in this example, when he was like 4 years old, so Mbongeni lives in Vilakazi Street, 3 houses away from Mandela's house. So when he was 4, so the mom is like, okay, it's Mandela's birthday, I'm gonna bath you, and then you're gonna go to the house. Mbongeni, without bathing, he runs. There he goes to Mandela's house. He starts singing for Mandela. He's out here singing, rapping for Mandela. And then when Mandela notices that Haibo, he's in trouble because the mom is looking for him, he didn't bath. How now, like Mandela is like, oh, okay. You know, he just blessed him. And then he's like, you know what? Wow. You actually, with this attitude, you're gonna reach, you know, you're gonna go far in life. You know, so he's got like a lot of moments, or even how he found the Black Eyed Peas. He didn't go to school for some odd reason. And he found the Black Eyed Peas at age of 6. He started, like, you know, so Mbongeni was always like getting lost. And when he comes back with like, you know, like things like, oh, this is what I've been up to, you know? So I think this one.
I've actually been there. I've actually been with Mandela's house. You know that, Firdaus? I was there with you, wasn't I?
Yes, during the World Summit on Media for Children.
I've been there. But also he is the character. I mean, I think he's a character that actually could work very well. It sounds cynical to say that, but you need to have a character where the audience actually gets attracted to
Yes.
him or to her. Yeah, so that's the reason, and we will be contact with you again, Wendy, with my project manager, who will give you all the technical.
Yes,
There's a
from
lot of
Tuesday,
technical things.
yeah, from Tuesday, I'm free. Yes.
Yeah, but she won't contact you now. It will be later this fall.
No, it's fine. Even now, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. The next
on.
one is Rogers Paparazzi, and I think there is a similarity between Paparazzi and the postcard, because it's both of the stories is about children who are in a very tragic and difficult situation, and they in Paparazzi they use art to be able to show themselves, to actually show themselves that they are human beings. They need to be taken seriously. I'm just going to find my notes from the Paparazzi. Boom, 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 boom. I have lots of notes. Yeah, but they are children in a very dangerous situation. It's a COVID. Also, it reflects on the COVID situation, the pandemic. I mean, there's going to be a lot of productions with the COVID, of course, because it has hit us all, and I think you have hit you a lot in South Africa, as we know from the media here. We follow it quite closely. So I like the story where there's this good ending, because we need to have good stories. You can have very troubled stories. You could be very harsh, but they need to be good. You need to take care of the audience. You can show them quite harsh things, but at the end, you need to take care of them. You need to take them to your breast. You cannot have open endings or strange endings with children films. You need to let them go a ride, but take care of them at the end. And I think Paparazzi may do that, and that's why I've chose that one. And the postcard, as I said, when we decided, I always love stories where it's the journey, because the journey is a very good way to write the story. It's a perfect. We have seen a lot of stories with journeys, and why don't use that? It's perfect. And also, as I said earlier, we need to have more films from your continent, and to see Egypt from another point of view than just what we see in the media, because it's very one-dimensional. What we see of Egypt, it's like there is always problem. No, there is no problem. There is good things also, and there is good people and there is bad people, as we have everywhere. Hopefully, we have most good people. And I also like Koala's background, because I wouldn't say, I mean, you're working in another area than I do, but I have also been working in youth centers. That's where I've been. That's made me who I am, actually. I work with kids in theater, and I work with kids making films. Maybe not in that harsh as you might have in Syria. I don't know really, but in the neighborhood where I was working was the bad neighborhoods, and I work with the kids and making films with them, and trying not to make them filmmakers. We're just going to make them good people to be able to cooperate with each other. So I like the background, even if the story is of course the reason why we chose it. But I also like Koala's background, so because that means that you actually know what you're talking about. It's not you don't have to do that much research, because you have your research within yourself. So yeah, I can talk a lot about this, but it's going to be kind of repetition, everything.
Thank you, Leonard. Thank you. Rogers, I know that we can't see you on the screen, but you are listening. Would you like to share something?
Hi, Fidos. About Paparazzi, it would be better if you asked me to direct me
Yes, so
on
in terms of,
what to say about it.
Okay, in terms of the choice of that story, has this come from a real experience? Why do you think it's necessary to give us the story of these particular children? And why did you bring in art in a way that I think is another dimension and interesting?
Okay, I came up with this story when I was still a student at the university. Actually, my co-author Cindy Magara was also my lecturer. So when I came up with this story, I shared it with her, and she felt it was something interesting to talk about children and the hardships in slums. So it has been on the shelf for a long time because we said, okay, we will work on it sometime later, until we got an email from Fidos asking for children's projects. Then we said, oh, there is even this story we had worked on at campus. Let's see if we can do it. Now, the idea of art, I'm a journalist. Whenever I would be coming from the office, going home, I would find children on the streets drawing pictures, selling those pictures to earn a living. These are children who have no home, so they are child-headed families. And the children, instead of going into crime, they just use their skills. They draw pictures on the streets and sell them. It was something so intriguing. It inspired me too. Like, these are children, yes, they have no one to look after them, but still they say, this is the right way to live. We are not going to steal. We are going to use our talent to survive. Also, there is a child in Kenya, I've forgotten the name. This child drew a picture of Steve Harvey, the Hollywood, he's a host of Steve Harvey show. So this child draws the picture of Harvey. It's just the usual you are drawing on the street, but the picture goes on social media, on Twitter, and it starts trending to the point that it reaches Steve Harvey. Steve comes out and he calls up this child and says, I'm going to support you, I'm going to help you. Now this child all of a sudden is going places just because of the picture of a celebrity that he drew. Now, when it comes to the pandemic, I thought, okay, we have these children drawing pictures, taking pictures to survive, but imagine what if they were in a situation where they're in a lockdown, they do not have parents. The COVID situation means they can't even sell these pictures anymore, and someone is after their property. What would they do? So it wasn't from actual experience. I just thought of situations and put them in situations and asked myself, how can they come out of this?
Really amazing. That's wonderful, Rogers. Also that there was a real life story in terms of them drawing. I think I've also spent time in Uganda. We filmed particularly on HIV and AIDS in about 2000, 2001. That's a long time ago. But we know the hardships and the challenges for young people. So I think this is, for me, a story, as Leonard said, of hope, which is important. Haula, I want to come to you because you are a psychologist. You are somebody working in the area of mental health. We understand that the pandemic in particular is affecting young people, you know, and all of us as adults have a way, probably, if we can, an outlet, and we can maybe talk to others about our situation. But young people, children, particularly at school, high school, primary school, are struggling with mental health during this pandemic. What have you encountered, and what would be some of the maybe stories that you've seen and suggestions of what we should be doing?
Actually, it might be in Egypt a little bit different because we don't have this strict rules about COVID-19. So we still go out, seeing each other, and going cafe, the swimming pool, everything. Yeah, actually, but for me, as I'm a psychologist and I'm one who take care of kids, it was very frustrated and I was angry because the school is crowded of kids and there is a corona and there is no health insurance for 50% of the people here in Egypt. So it's dangerous for the kids themselves and for their parents also. But we survive. Part of we survive here in Egypt. I think also there is something positive in Corona because especially for the middle class and upper class and the lower class, because they force themselves to spend more time with kids together in the house, playing with them, talking with them, and taking care of them, not bringing nanny or anyone from outside, or even throw them in the clubs or activity or kids activity. So this is might be make a new rebound to the family, and they feel like they are very important to each other, and they need to take care of each other. So this is a positive point of view for COVID-19, and that's it.
Yes, you're right. Actually, a lot of people have realized, and I think in South Africa, they say, oh my goodness, we didn't realize how important the teachers were, because it was always, funny that you could just blame the teacher for any problem. And now suddenly you're staying with your children at home whilst you're trying to work and your children are trying to work, and you realize that challenge that parents are going through. Wendy, I see you saying yes, yes. Tell me your experience, Wendy.
What's your experience, Wendy?
No, not much, because like I don't have a kid, and like when it comes to, but I know I've got like cousins and whatsoever. They were always blaming the teachers, and now COVID came, and then now they're in fire. They've got nobody to blame. So that's how I'm laughing. I'm like, yes, because I know.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
because it was easy to defer the responsibility and to say the school
Yes.
must do it, the teacher must do it. Now you are the parent. So in my previous life, I was a teacher, and therefore I have empathy for teachers. And I was saying, even to my own family members, when they were complaining about the teachers, now they're complaining about the children not going to school. It's quite interesting. But I'm so impressed with Leonard, the pictures that we did get, the stories that people are telling. And I wanted to know from your side, in terms of a European lens, just framing it in terms of Europe, are the stories that different that come out of Africa or Latin America or Asia in terms of children, or are the stories similar? And if they are similar, what is it that is similar?
I think the stories is always universal in a way, but I think, as I said earlier, the 11 projects that you pitched here at the Nelson Mandela Film Festival, Children Film Festival, was the base of all the projects was quite what children in really, really bad situations. You find them also in Europe, of course. I mean, we have the situation here also, but we have also very light comedies and sequels of a project, of a film that went very well. Then suddenly they make a number 2 and they make a number 3, and I'm not that interested in this repetition. I think there need to be a kind of a seriousness in the story, and also you should not be frightened to tell stories, because the kids are bright. They see the world a bit different than we do as grown-ups, but they are very bright. So you don't underestimate their knowledge and what they can understand. You need to challenge them. with art, for instance. And film is one art. It can also be music or whatever it is. I mean, hip hop is a big art, and if you listen to the what they sing in rappers, they are quite political sometimes. So really heavy political things that they're singing, but they do it in a way that they actually can meet the audience and meet the young people, and that's why. But to say, it has also to do with it that we have here in Europe, we have more, or maybe definitely here in Scandinavia, because we have much more easy to get fundings for making children films. Even if we are complaining the whole time, we complain that it's not too much money, but we have a lot of countries there are no money for designated to children, and definitely not to documentaries for children. There are not even slots in the TV channels for documentaries for children, even if the kids want to see real stories. A documentary is, of course, is kind of a fixed story in a way. It's not reality, but it's going to be Wendy's reality in her film, how she sees it. But I think that you need to do more stories that actually they can mirror themselves into the situation. Even if a Swedish child can mirror themselves in the situation in Cairo for the two kids, because they are kids. They are looking for someone to take care of them. I mean, that's why the similarity is. But the big difference is, of course, the funding system we have in Europe. And I think we don't have it in the States, and you don't have it in South America, and you don't have it in Asia, but you have it in the Nordic countries and in Europe. And that is the big difference. You can actually make, and also when you make a children film as a producer or director, and it's going to be a high success, you're going to get the idiotic question: when are you going to make a real film? That is it's like what is a real film? A film for adults? We need to give the kids good stories, because they are the ones who are going to be the good persons after us. We are the grown-ups. We can survive. Give the kids, the young people of today, give them good stories. Give them all the money. I mean, and give them the voice. Give them the voice, for Christ's sake. And the pandemic has also shown. I agree with you with the teachers, but also what we found out here in Sweden is the nurses in the hospitals, because we are a small country. We have 10 million inhabitants. We have 15,000 people who died of the corona, and we found out that the nurses are the one who's going to be best paid ever. They should raise the payment for the nurses, and that's what we found out. But there's a lot of good things also from the corona things that actually, as you said, suddenly we are working from home. We are much more together. Suddenly the family structure is coming back again. I mean, we had our son who's 20 years today. It's his 20th birthday today.
Happy birthday! Happy
Yes.
birthday!
So I mean, we had him here at home for one full year, because we gave him a year just to relax. It's stupid to go to school during the corona, because it's just going to be. So he started now in Copenhagen yesterday in his new school. But that was fantastic. Suddenly we have new structures in the family. We had the dinners were different, and so there is not. It's good. There is a good thing about corona as well. If you need to take away the people actually passed away, but it's a good thing to understand the situation what we're living in.
Yes. Hala, you wanted to tell me something about being in Syria, or being Syrian and now living in Egypt and working with Egyptian children. Tell us also, if you can, a little bit about the Syrian experience, because it was so much in the news for so long, and suddenly, as you know what news does, it looks for the next story, and we forget about the realities. Please tell us, share with us.
Actually, as I'm a Syrian in Egypt, in 100 million inhabitants, and only Syrian refugees who will go to Old Cairo and to be a school director, not a teacher and not a student. She will be the one who said yes and no. And this Syrian girl comes to us and wants to tell us what to do. There is a resilience, and they didn't want me, and they always say, no, she is nice, she looks good, she can't handle us, because they are teenagers and kids and girls and boys, and it's an old area. But I did it, and during my work there, sometimes I feel guilty because I have to go back to Syria or to go to camps and work with Syrian kids. Why I stay here and working with Egyptian kids while my country kids needs me? But I think this is really a bad idea or bad thoughts, because I will take care of Egyptian kids and another Egyptian might be take care of Syrian kids. It's not about your nationality. It's about where you are and what you can give to the other. Also, in 2015, I went back to Lebanon to Syrian camp there, and I was very afraid to see bad situation and feel guilty again about my lovely life with Egyptian kids here. But actually, I felt once I saw the Syrian kids there, I felt like, no, the Egyptian kids need more attention. It's not only about war. Sometimes life is harder than being in war. They have a different, for sure they have different issues and problems, but also Egyptian kids need to take care of them and need to help them, and they really need us. So I felt, no, it's fine. I will go back to Egypt and continue my work with them. Then I want to share their stories because I like the life in the Old Cairo. My friends in mid-class places, they told me, how you go there? It's dangerous. There's harassment. They will kill you. They will rob you. But no one even bother me. No one even tell me anything bad at all. They love me and they take care of me. Once I walked on the street, on the oldest street, they told me that you should go to the election and we will give voice to you. They told me that, yeah. So I told them, no, I'm Syrian, I can't do that. They told me, no, you have to go and we will go, all of us, to vote for you. This was really important for me to talk about them and to see that these people in old Cairo, they are not bad people. They are poor, yes, but they are not bad. If you and also this is my opinion actually, if you don't if you deal with them in a good basis, they will deal with you in a good basis. If you deal with them as a human being, not the one I want to take care of you and give you our money and you are vulnerable. No, they feel like, oh, okay, he might use me. They might lying on me, but they know that I like them as a human being and I want them to deal with me in the same basis. This is why I write this story, and I want to tell and talk more and more about Egyptian kids. And even I know that it's making a movie for kids. This is making, oh, she's doing a movie about kids. She is not a professional enough to do a good movie. But this is ridiculous, because I think it's more complicated, and and difficult to do a good movie, Arab movie, because we don't have Arab movie for children. We don't have at all a Arab movie, good Arab movie, because part of them is Islamic, more have a direction for religion direction, or very silly and stupid one, or translated one. So we don't have a unique and real Arab movie. So this is my yani, this is why I want to do this movie.
I think that is so important, because even as I look at all three of you, that you've taken the time from almost a personal experience. Wendy, you met this man, you met this young person, you took the time to talk to him, to deal with him as a human being, as somebody that you had eye contact with. The same thing with Rogers. You saw these children, you picked up on what they were doing. And I think that's the work that we do, really, that as storytellers and filmmakers and people in this industry, we know that we need to connect with each other, and we need to connect with the story. Leonard, I see your hand is up.
Yes, I just want to add what Kuala said, because about this making a film for kids is not a real film. I mean, as I said, also that's so stupid. If you make an honest film about kids with a good story, then it's going to work for the adults as well. But you will, when you make the film, you need to really know whom am I making this film. I'm making this for this 9-year-old kids in Egypt. That's your main target. But it will, of course, if you make it good, it will also reach an adult audience. But the other way around, if you make a film for adults, it will not go for the kids. They don't care about it. So that's the big difference, and that is what you need to convince. We have the same problem here in Europe, of course, because making real films and making real documentaries for grown-ups. I mean, come on, I've been working with the children film festivals for 20 years, so I know what happens when you show a good film for young audience, and it can reflect their life. You cannot change the world with a film, but you can change a person, and a person is a part of the world. So that is, yep.
When we come to this, we only have 3 minutes left, so the time goes by so quickly. This is called the F Show. Obviously, F for my name, Firdaus, the F Show. And we ask everybody to tell me what F means for you. So I say F is for freedom. You might have F for something else. So I'm going to start with you, Rogers. What does F mean for you? And then give me your final thoughts.
I should talk first before I remember what F stands for me. When I set out to write this story, I wanted to make a difference. I was tired of a situation here in Uganda. We had a slogan where people would say, Tusaba government tuyambe. It's a local dialect to mean we want government to help us. I was tired of that situation where we are always begging to the government to help. I thought we could use our own gifts, our own talents to live our own lives. This is why I made this story, and this is why I think it will inspire young Ugandans. F, for me, it should stand for fascination, because this whole experience has been fascinating for me and challenging at the same time. The whole idea of pitching is new to me, and I'm grateful for Firdaus and the fascinating show. Thank you.
Thank you. Khala, what does F mean for you, and what are your last thoughts?
F means to me fish. I think I used to be a fish, golden fish in one of my past life. I don't know, yeah, this is what I'm very thankful for this experience. and I'm very excited about developing more and more my stories and my films, and having more films for kids in Arab world and in general.
Okay, Wendy.
For me, it's just going so well. Because for me, like with this particular moment, it means finding Mbongeni. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and you know, for like, you know, for everything actually. Because like, yo, this story, I had sleepless nights, like where, like, you know, I couldn't sleep. I was just thinking like, oh Jesus, like, yo, this story, like, you know, and like, you know, even finding Mbongeni was like, yeah, it was very hard, you know. So for me, finding Mbongeni. And for
Thank you, Wendy. Leonard.
Well, Roger took my word for F, so I had to quickly to find out. I think also fish was quite clever, because that's a good thing. Where were you? What were you in your previous life? And I don't think I was a fish, but the word that came up to me was, there's two words actually. There's fantasy, because you need the fantasy to tell a story, even if it's not a fantasy film. I mean, you know what I mean. To use your imagination, your fantasy, to create a fantastic story. Because I think a film should be fantastic in one way or another. You should always try to make an impact. It's not the F, but it's an impact on the audience. You need to make an impact, because you're struggling with your stories for, I mean, as Rogers, for many, many years had this story. And now you're going to make it. You need to make a film that makes an impact and make it fantastic. Yeah, that's what I can say.
That's
But,
wonderful. F for fantasy, fantastic. That you got them both, for finding, for fish, and for fascination. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for your time. It was a wonderful conversation. I wish you all the very best. I want to thank you, Leonard and Mbrain and Annette, for being part of our project and our work. And we want to see these films definitely being produced. Thank you and goodbye. Bye.
bye-bye.